Oh, we are so back, baby. We've taken a little bit of a break from talking about this prospect in the Montreal Canadiens system. And part of the reason for that is because this guy was actually sidelined for a little bit. He missed a few games with the Boston University Terriers due to injury. However, he is back, he is better than ever, and when it comes to Montreal Canadiens prospect Lane Hutson, there is seemingly nothing that could slow him down at this point. Because yesterday, Lane Hutson, upon making his return to the BU Terriers lineup, ended up posting a very great stat line against the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. In BU's 5-4 overtime loss, Lane Hutson went out there and had himself a freaking hat trick. He had scored the first 3 goals of the BU Terriers in this showcase, and pretty much carried the team on his back when it came to the way he was able to produce these goals. Let's go over each of them one by one and talk about what Hutson does to get his offense on the board, starting out with the 1-1 tying goal taking place with 1:30 left in the first period. This is where Lane Hutson receives the puck at the left point, the Terriers have offensive pressure, Hutson cuts into the middle, and then makes a nice little pump fake to make the defender think he's going all the way to the right side before quickly cutting back into the middle and unleashing a shot towards the goal. It gets by like 5 bodies and through the goaltender. This is his first goal of the game, and it was followed up shortly after by the Fighting Hawks getting themselves 2 goals to start out the second period. Owen McLaughlin gets one a minute in, and then Jaden Perron gets things done on the power play. But in the final 3 minutes of the second period, Lane Hutson, with the support of guys like Macklin Celebrini, goes out there and gets things done in the ways that he needs to. Hutson is in the offensive zone, controlling the left side once again. And once again, he's cutting into the middle. This is his signature play. He goes over to Macklin Celebrini, who is at the goal line, who fakes a shot. Hutson cuts into the middle while Celebrini dances around, and Hutson, like a brilliant sniper, with all the goal-scoring instincts in the world, puts himself in the perfect opportunity to receive a backdoor pass and put it in the back of the net. At face value, it's so weird to see a defenseman pinching in like this and getting involved in the offensive play. But here's the thing. This play was so open and free that Lane Hutson taking advantage of it shows more of his hockey awareness than it does any other skill. As he passes the puck to Celebrini, most of the North Dakota players all put their attention to him, allowing Hutson to just squeak into the slot unscathed. Celebrini, of course, notices this, which is what sets up the pass in the first place. Just a brilliant play set up by 2 of the top players in the NCAA. Of course, Macklin Celebrini is a potential first overall pick in next year's draft, so there's a lot of fodder for him too. But that goal, that's not all from Lane Hutson. Because just 2 minutes later, with 33 seconds to go in the second period, Lane Hutson scored again for the hat trick. And this was a brilliant play where the puck gets tossed out in front, Hutson picks it up at the perimeter of the faceoff circle, he waits, he stares down the shooting lane, and then he fires it right by everybody. Again, there's a huge screen in front, and Hutson is able to find that small hole to put the puck in the back of the net. The Hawks then scored a bunch more. Devin Kaplan got the final BU goal. But essentially, after this weekend's worth of North Dakota head-to-heads for the BU Terriers, Lane Hutson is at a season record right now of 9 points in 7 games played. Now, that's not bad. Certainly not bad. The guy's over a point per game. If you do the math, right here, he technically is on pace for a very similar season to what he had last year. Last year, Hutson had 48 points in 39 games. If you do the math of 9 div 7 multiplied out by 39, you get a point projection pace of around 50. So if Hutson is able to keep up this point per game number and have the same amount of games as last year, he technically would have the better season. But the kicker here is the fact that last year, Hutson had 15 goals in 39 games. This year, the guy has 6 goals in 7. If you do the math on just Lane Hutson's goal production, he is on pace for around a 33-goal year, which would be ridiculous, firstly, considering the NCAA never really has guys who score all too many goals as D-men, but with a hat-trick performance like he had tonight, it really puts that number in a great spot. In fact, let's do that. Let's go over to the NCAA's history, search by all-time seasons, and go to defenseman goal scoring. Here you go. So the top most productive goal-scoring season out of an NCAA defenseman was accomplished by Paul Hurley in 66-67, where in 28 games played, he had 32 goals. Okay, that's pretty good. In fact, nobody here is a name that you're probably going to recognize. The most recognizable one, I think, is Rob Blake, who in 89-90 had 23 goals in 42 games played. I'm not going to say it's impossible for Lane Hutson to break any goal-scoring records here, but it is kind of unrealistic, I feel, to say that he's going to continue at an under-goal-per-game pace the entire year as a defenseman. It's just, for now, this is obviously what we're presented with, and it's a pretty good profile to be had. Especially since he had the hat trick. I mean, you can't really script that any better. The guy misses some time, he's out with an injury, he returns, he scores a hat trick, no biggie, Canadiens fans are super happy, and everybody is reminded that this guy is as legit of a prospect as he's ever been. Because he's scoring at the same point production rate. I mean, he's on pace to getting a tad more points than last year just based off of the sample size right now. Whether that means that there is going to be some sort of a trophy or an award handed out to him, for example, let's say the Hobey Baker, that remains to be seen. But for now, games like these where we see the prospects going out there and doing their thing, these are the best things that we want to see. Now, before we end off this video, I did want to get some more Habs notes and stuff out there, just because, you know, the Canadiens are always playing, we're always talking about the Habs too. Yesterday, we did make a video talking about Yuri Slafkovsky and whether or not he's as bad as Nail Yakupov was. That was mostly brought up because of all the discourse we had seen on social media regarding the guy, and I know some people were clowning on me in the comment section of that video afterwards, but what do you know, a few hours after that video gets published, Slafkovsky scores his first goal of the season against the St. Louis Blues. So, there you go. I felt it was probably appropriate to go out there and address that entire situation happened. I was going to make a video about the Canadiens and the Blues game, but then, you know, they lost. And I was like, yeah, well, this Red Wings game is going on right now, and they're winning, and I'd rather talk about that because that's more of a hype story. I don't really think too many people are going to be engaged in, oh, Canadiens lose 6-3, but Slafkovsky scored, so there you go. Like, at some point, I gotta try to think about what's really worth my time as a content creator, right? Not to say that Canadiens topics and videos are not worth my time, it's just kind of in that particular situation. It's not really something that I think is all too gravitating for Canadiens fans who are ticked off that their team lost, and I'm not really known for making too many Canadiens post-game videos anyway, so when I do make one, it has to be because the game was a big deal. And Slafkovsky getting a goal, I mean, good for him. He played a lot better in yesterday's game than we had ever seen. Maybe compared to the first game, it was around the same there. But who knew? Playing Yuri Slafkovsky with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield would give him good results. Who knew, eh? It's almost like the fans were right. Not to say that Marty St. Louis is a bum or anything like that, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, is it not? Yuri Slafkovsky has to be given some good minutes and some good line mates in order to succeed, and we finally saw the fruits of that idea come to fruition last night. So we'll end this video off here. I just wanted to toss out that entire thing about Slafkovsky because I did see it pop up as a big thing in my comment section. Also, I needed to find a way to get this video to 8 minutes anyway. I'm not going to be dishonest about that. This is my job after all. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Lane Hutson getting his hat trick, how he's on pace for 30-something goals. He is on pace for literally the best goal production season we have seen in the NCAA from a defenseman in decades, and how he's on pace for a better year than last year. What are your thoughts on the way he had scored his goals in the hat trick? And what are your thoughts on Yuri Slafkovsky as well? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.